Hi everyone, welcome to Mendoza Makes. I'm Michelle Mendoza. Today we are doing diner dishes number 3, 4, I think 3. It's been a little while, but anyway, I've been craving Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles from Southern California. I was born and raised in Southern California, and then I lived in Anaheim while I was working at Disneyland. And Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles was the place to get some good, like, stick to your bones comfort soul food. I have a craving for it. I'm going to make it. And I want to show you guys how I'm gonna do that. I did get a new waffle maker recently because my old one finally kicked the bucket. It's listed as a Belgian waffle maker, which got me curious because I usually make buttermilk waffles. So I wanted to know the difference in recipe and if they would actually taste different and like the texture and things like that. I've only ever ordered Belgian waffles at restaurants. I've never made them at home. So I'm gonna do a little experiment with this video as well and do a Belgian waffle and a buttermilk waffle and then compare the two. Let's go. So I'm gonna start with the waffles, but first I'm gonna do some research. Just from memory, I don't really notice a difference in like the flavor, except for Belgian waffles are usually like thicker. This says the main difference between the two batters is that Belgian waffles are yeast-based. Interesting, they're yeasted. So then do you have to let them rise like you do with bread? The buttermilk waffle recipe I usually use is from King Arthur flour, which I go to for a lot of baking recipes. Their recipes are usually really, really good. I'm gonna just look and see if they have a Belgian waffle recipe, and maybe that can give me a like comparison if I get the recipe from the same place. I did find that King Arthur flour also has a Belgian waffle recipe that's Belgian style yeast waffles. I'm gonna do both of these side by side and see what the difference is. I'll put the link to both of the recipes that I found on here in the description if you guys want to check it out. Oh yeah, here's the instructions. After you mix it together, cover with plastic wrap and let sit at room temperature for 1 hour. So you do have to let it rise. I'm going to make the Belgian waffle dough first since I have to let it rise for an hour, and then I'll start on the regular buttermilk recipe that I usually make. That one I know doesn't take that long because I usually make that one. Let's go. Even though this recipe says that the maple syrup is optional, I think because there's no other like white sugar or brown sugar added in the recipe, I think this is where it's gonna get its sweetness from. So I am going to add it. Okay, this came together really quickly and easily. Looks like it's all combined. So, okay, so now I'm gonna let this sit for an hour. Okay, I'm gonna start on the buttermilk. Nope, that's a teaspoons and I just put 2 tablespoons in there. Ah, okay, that's okay. I can fix it. It'll be fine, right? This isn't a good test then. Darn it. I'm gonna see if I can get some of it out. My scientific test is flawed now. It wasn't scientific to begin with anyway. Because of this, I'm actually going to omit the baking soda, I think. Baking powder contains baking soda. So if I put too much baking powder and then I also put baking soda in there, it might be way too much. So I'm actually gonna just leave it the way it is and see what happens. Nobody's perfect, it's fine. My buttermilk mix is ready to go. While I'm waiting for the Belgian waffle mixture to sit for an hour, I'm gonna mix up the dredge for the chicken. If you've never fried chicken before at home, usually you use raw chicken and you dip it and coat it in some kind of egg mixture, and then you dip it and coat it in either panko crumbs that are all crispy or a flour mixture to give it that like crackling like coating on the outside when it's fried. If you watch my video on eggs, the egg mixture is what helps the flour mixture stick to the chicken. So it's really important to do the eggs first and then the flour. I put that shit on everything. I do put that shit on everything. And then I have these Famous Dave's spicy pickle chips. They are delicious. If you like spicy pickles, so good. So I'm gonna put a little bit of this juice in here. Whoop, just a little bit. That is my wet mixture. Now I'm gonna make the dry mixture. For the dry mixture, I use this cake pie plate. It's kind of deeper than a pie, maybe like a cheesecake. A pie plate or a cake plate like this is perfect for the dry mixture, because what you're gonna do is end up dredging the chicken in it and kind of like pushing the flour into the chicken to make sure that it really like coats the entire chicken. So having a like wide flat surface makes that a lot easier. Dry mixture is ready. Now I'm just waiting on the waffles. All right, the timer went off that the Belgian waffles are done with their sitting, rising, bubbling, yeasty action. I have my waffle maker set up right here. I'm gonna do the buttermilk first. Then on the stove, I have my chicken station ready. So I have raw chicken. I have my pot filled with canola oil for frying. After you're done frying chicken, you need to let it drain on a wire rack. So what I do to make cleanup for myself easier is line a baking tray with tin foil and then put my drying rack in it, so that when I'm done, I can just take off the tin foil and it's clean still. And then I have my flour mixture and my wet egg mixture. I can only make one waffle at a time. As they come out of the waffle maker, I'm gonna put them in the oven at like 170 to keep warm. If you have leftover waffles, they're usually like fresher tasting if you save it as batter instead of cooking the batter and then saving it once it's made. Saving the batter and then re-cooking the waffle. What am I trying to say? Oh my God, my brain won't work. Okay, save waffle batter, not cooked waffles. It'll keep in the fridge for like 1 to 2 days, so I usually use it the next day. For the chicken, I figured I'd make it a little easy on myself. I'm just gonna do fried chicken tenders. Because they're not very thick, they don't take that long to cook. So what I'm gonna do is get my oil to about 325 degrees, anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes-ish. I actually didn't have a thermometer for a really long time, and I didn't think that I really needed one, but now that I have one, I use it constantly. If you don't have a thermometer, what you can do to kind of see if your oil is hot enough is dip your fingers into the flour mixture and get like a little bit of flour and kind of flick it into the oil. And if it browns and like kind of bubbles a bit, like right away, it's ready. It's hot enough. I am going to fry my chicken in my Dutch oven cast iron pan. It takes it a while to heat up, but once it is heated up, it's great for this because it maintains the temperature really well. Cast iron isn't really susceptible to temperature spikes or fast temperature changes. It takes it a while to get up to temperature and to cool down. So that makes it great for stuff like this because I want the oil to maintain one temperature the whole time that I'm frying the chicken, and I have quite a bit of chicken to get through. So I love using cast iron for this. This is gonna take a while, so I'm gonna speed it up for you guys. I'm nearly done. The last waffle is in the waffle iron. The last batch of chicken is frying. So I'm gonna get everything together and then I'm gonna try it. When I was keeping the waffles warm in the oven, I used this blue mat to indicate that these were the buttermilk ones, and the green mat is the yeasted Belgian waffle recipe ones. I'm going to try the, you know what? Let's be real, I'm gonna eat this with my hands. I'm not gonna use a fork. Sorry, people. Okay, I'm gonna try buttermilk first. That is a buttermilk waffle. I'm tasting them plain so that I can just taste just the waffle and no like syrup or whatever. That's a good waffle. It's sweet, it's milky, it's fluffy texture, crispy on the outside. Let's try this Belgian waffle. Okay. Right away, it's not as sweet. It tastes more like a bread than a sweet waffle, which makes me think that if you were going to use a bunch of sweet toppings, if you were doing like a bunch of fruit and like whipped cream and like chocolate sauce or something, this would probably be a good recipe to use for that, because then it's not overly sweet and it's more like the flavor is gonna come from the toppings instead of the actual waffle itself. That's what the taste of this makes me think of, or like the flavor. You can also see the difference in the like inside texture of both of them. The top one is the Belgian waffle, the bottom one is buttermilk. This one, like you can tell it's kind of got those yeasted like pockets, kind of like when you make bread or sourdough. Interesting. Yeah, I would make this again. I would use it for if I was making a super like elaborate toppings to put on your waffle, because this is more of like a bread that's going to be a flavor carrier, not the flavor itself, if that makes sense. This one is more of like, it's a sweet waffle on its own. I can taste the sugar, I can taste the vanilla specifically. There you go. Belgian waffle, buttermilk waffle. Now let's try the chicken. This chicken is crispy. Yeah, all right. No sauce, just by itself. Oh my God, what sound just came out of me? What sound was that? Oh my God, I'm sorry. This is not the best fried chicken I've had in my life. It could be crispier, but the flavor from adding the hot sauce and using the buttermilk in the egg mixture and a little bit of pickle to add the acidity, I can taste it. It makes a huge difference. The flavor in this is really, really good. But I think maybe I needed a higher temperature on the oil. I think maybe that would have added to a little bit of crispiness. Using these thinner pieces of chicken is kind of tricky because you want to leave it in there long enough that the chicken isn't raw anymore, but I don't want it to be in there too long that it's gonna dry out the chicken. So leaving it in there longer is probably not the best solution to getting it crispier. What I would probably do instead is just increase the heat and then leave it in there for the same amount of time or maybe even shorter. I mean, it's pretty crispy, it just could be crispier. Flavor though. Now this is what we're doing. We're taking a bite of each waffle and making it a little bite-sized sandwich. Here. So, do I think that I have recreated Roscoe's level of chicken and waffles? Honestly, probably not. But the point of doing diner dishes is to recreate those dishes that you can have in restaurants at home. So I'd say I did that. I had a craving for chicken and waffles, and I got chicken and I got waffles. There are no losers. If you guys try the waffle recipes and you find different results than I did, let me know in the comments. I'm really curious. That'd be really cool. Now I'm gonna make myself a plate of chicken and waffles, drizzle it with maple syrup, and just consume. If you like this video or you learned something, give it a like. If you would like to learn more, subscribe to my channel. I upload every Friday. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.